Good evening, afternoon, or morning, everybody. It is the start of a new week. That means we get another part of our Final Fantasy VI Permadeath run. If I remember correctly, it has been a week. We were just about to enter the Magitek Research Facility, which may or may not be a really bad time. I know the area outside of Vector has not been ideal. Let me swap over here real quick. There's been a lot of very, very nasty stuff around, but we managed to just barely survive by the skin of our teeth. So let me head on over here. So yeah, as far as I know, all we're doing is just going right into the facility today. So I guess, looking at our stats, we're relatively okay. We'll start heading in. And hopefully we won't run into too many problems en route. I'm gonna have at least one fight. These things are the bad things. We don't want to deal with these if we can help it. The fact that we have a preemptive attack might save us some pain, but it's not gonna save us entirely. There's a pretty high chance of them just outright murdering some of us. And the bummer is there is an inn here, but you do get poisoned if you stay there. At least for the time being you do. I don't know if they still do it after the Magitek Research Facility. Really have no reason to stay there after that. And how bad's this gonna hit us? Okay, only one person. Could be worse. I'd be more worried about the other one. The bummer is I can't run from this fight, so I don't really have much in the way of being able to avoid the pain that's about to come to me. More or less, I need to hope that they run out of MP before they start using level 5. Whatever it is. Is there a way I can... Because they have auto-reflect. You know what? Let's just let him do that. Okay, good. One person dead, I can deal with that. I need to stay at the end to try to save my items a bit. Then hopefully I have enough antidotes to sort of cover for the negative effect of being here. I don't see a poison status. Okay, maybe in the rando it has a chance of not happening? I mean, I'll take it. It's a win. Alright, now. How bad is it gonna be in here? Because like I said last time, this is where you start running into stuff like Quake if you're not lucky. And there's no real defense against that at this point, unless you happen to have found, like, you know, a Gaia gear or something along those lines. Which the chances of that is pretty low at this point, because it's a higher tier item. But I mean, it's not entirely implausible. Might have got lucky to have somebody who starts with one. Alright, circle it. Have we already seen that? I do not recall. Has no effect. What do you have on? You already have one on. Okay, so we have seen it. Alright, so now we have to figure out what we're dealing with in here. Okay, so far they do not have an auto-reflect, which is good. Now what about these guys? No? Okay, they're pretty good to go then. So those two are safe. Don't have to worry about those two as far as I'm aware yet. It is entirely possible they have something nasty they just haven't had a chance to do. But at least for the time being, they seem reasonably okay. Oh wow, they don't have much health at all. Now I will have to be a little bit cautious because with a lot of my attacks being elemental, we're going to be running into a guy soon who changes his elemental defenses. Plus with Shiva and Ifrit, you know, I'm going to be running into issues regardless. Ooh, another wall ring. Okay, well, let's see. Who's the most important? Do you already have one on? You do. Second most important, I guess, would be you. Forge, do I already have that? Looks like we've already had it at least once, so nothing we need to concern ourselves with there. Alright, first room down. This one has a bunch of chests. I'm mainly opening them because you have no reason to return here after you've done it. And once you go to the World of Ruin, there's no returning anyway. At least I don't think you can go back in. You might be able to. No, Vector doesn't exist in the World of Ruin. That's right. That gets rid of it entirely. So yeah, we need to get these chests before we leave if we're going to get them at all. Which is not without danger, mind, because you might run into a monster in a box, but you know, whatevs. We'll run the gauntlet. We'll roll the dice here, because I mean, if I could get more wall rings, great. If I can fluke my way into a Gaia gear, even better, because then I have a defense against Earth, in case something goes awry. And we squeeze out a little bit more experience before some somewhat difficult boss fights, considering my skill set. Thing is, I don't have a Libra, so I have no way of knowing what he's defending against and what he's not. Don't remember if I've seen these guys before. Okay, that's enough to kill him. Don't know if they have an auto-reflect, since that wouldn't be reflected anyway. Stout spear, I guess I'll loop around like this. Proto-armor, a vanilla enemy. Huh. That's strange. Speaking of, vanilla enemies and the randomizer in general, there is a new version of the randomizer. The seeds rolled on the old version, but it just came out. I have to update the link, so I will do that in the description below this video, but there's a new lead dev in charge of everything, more or less, from what I can gather. So the new URL will be where you're going forward anyway. I have not had a chance to test it since obviously got to finish this seed first, but I've seen the dev talking in Dark Slash's channel and heard him mention some of the stuff he's got planned for it, so it's good to have, you know, active development back in the swing of things. Not that Subtraction Soup didn't do a lot of good stuff with the game. But more features always more gooder. Warpstone could help in a pinch, but so far it seems pretty laid back in here, which I don't trust. Yep, there it is. I knew it was too good to be true. Okay, no harm healing if I'm just gonna auto-kill him. Somebody knows Cure 2, and I can never remember who it is. Assuming they're even in the party right now. They are not. Okay, that's fine, because we got a bunch of healing items. Probably start with these, just to not blow anything good. I thought I got a bunch of potions. Okay, I did. Monster in a box. Okay. Can't run away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not good. I need to get her up as soon as possible in the hopes that I can auto-kill this thing. Otherwise, we are going to have a very, very bad day. Okay, you absorb Bolt. Good to know. That's probably not good. Yep. Well, that's the end of this seed. So what we're gonna do, since, you know, we're only like 12 minutes in, I guess, we're gonna run around for a little bit. Maybe we'll take a look at some of the new stuff on the new creator here. But I want to disguise the fact that the seed has already ended to a degree, so... let's see, how do I want to do this? Because, I mean, it would take time to roll a seed and everything. No, what we might do is I might, take a look at the new creator here. Give a chance to show it up. I mean, if somebody skips ahead in the video, they're gonna see I'm looking at that and they'll know I'm already dead, but, you know, what are you gonna do? Still, you know, that'll happen. Monster in the boxes are somewhat random, and when they do more damage than you could feasibly have, you know, at this point in the game, you're pretty much boned. Suppose what I can do while they're actively killing me over there is I can start whittling down this stuff. I mean, I don't know how much is actively going to be new on the new seed maker, because it might just be that he's updated the code a little bit to facilitate future updates rather than adding a lot right this second. can always take a look. It's a bummer, though. I was kind of curious what still remained. I might peek a little bit at what skill sets the remaining characters still had. Because, I mean, some of the skills in this seed were pretty good all around. You had, a Golem Blowfish on its own was pretty OP. Alright, so that's that done. Alright, so while that's going, let me peek at this real quick. Is that showing? No. Okay. So let's see here. We want to see what Setzer had real quick. So where is he? Alright, they show these out of order, which is annoying. That's Terra, Locke, Cyan. Conquer, we've seen that. Edgar, Sabin. Well, Strago would have had Fight, Steal, Magic, and Item, which, I mean, it's okay, I guess, not great. Realm would have had Fight, Bismarck, Soul Out, Runic, and Item. So, I mean, that's okay. Setzer would have had Fight, Morph, Mimic, and Item. Which is not overly great, honestly. Gogo has Mimic. Umara would have had Fight, Arbio, Psych Star, and Item. I have no idea what Psych Star is off the top of my head. Because it wouldn't be Flame Star or Flare Star because obviously it's not starting with Star. Cyclone? Maybe? Star something? Doesn't Realm's special move start with Star? Oh well. Let's close that real quick. And I guess I can just delete this entire folder for now. And I'll load this up. We'll take a look at this real quick. Just bear with me while I get it to load here. Just gotta do this stuff for when you initially do it, so. Alright. There we go. So, if I window capture, I ignore that. That's my timer that shows me how long I've been running, so I can keep it sort of concise to an hour. Here we go. So, this is sort of the new UI for making seeds here. And this version auto updates. You can also check for updates here. You know, you can set your game mode and everything. You can select sort of built-in flag sets where you can make your own. Why is it reopening it? Why is there two versions open of it now? I guess when it updates, it puts up a new one. So give me a sec. There we go. So let's browse this. I might as well make my new seed now. So select the flags. I guess it doesn't matter. So you'll check these off as you need to. So the only one I leave off is the randomize the clock in Zozo, just because I use a textless ROM, so there's no real reason to have it on because you can't figure out what the clock is for anyway. Makeover, party. So a lot of these are like, you know, you can see what it does here. So in the old days, you used to have to know these codes by heart and tie them together just by typing them out. Okay, sprite categories. I think this is a new section here. At least I don't remember. Like, I thought these were, some of these were under sprites before, and there wasn't like no anime or only anime and stuff like that. Electric Boogaloo. Random bosses. Oh, these are new. All battles award 3 times experience. There's 3 times GP, 3 times magic points. No Espers grant stat bonuses if you want to do that. Okay. Aesthetic. So these are all stuff that don't really affect much in the way of the gameplay. I used Mind Time. I used Dancing Maduin. There's probably some newer stuff in here. I wonder what this is. Desperation. It sounds like that makes the desperation attacks happen more often, which could be amusing. So stuff in experimental, I believe, is just stuff that isn't officially working yet. So use them at your own risk. I did do the scenario not taken once with Margaret Ann, and it worked fine for me, but for some reason she got stuck while we were doing a race. Like, it just wouldn't load what she needed to be loaded to continue on. So be very aware of that if you're going to do stuff. So I'm going to roll the next seed here. I will just save this as Permadeath 1. And the other part is it happens in like a DOS window, so you won't be able to see it. But yeah, it's pretty simple, you know, to set up a flag if you wanted to try the randomizer for yourself. There's a lot of various flags and stuff you could activate to make it harder or easier for you, in case, you know, you wanted to just sort of have a brisk run through, but with the randomization, now with the new experience multipliers and stuff, you can do that. And I guess it doesn't automatically close the thing now, so you can make more than one seed. Beforehand, if you rolled a seed, it would just auto-close the program afterwards, but now I guess they've made it so you can just do a bunch of them if you want. But for now, we only really need the one. I might do a shorter video today. I mean, there's no way I'm going to stretch this out for a full hour. So what we might do next week is might as well just pop over here while I talk. I might do a different game next week rather than jumping into another Final Fantasy VI Permadeath. What I'm thinking is I did have to delete a Final Fantasy IV free enterprise seed because for one, I had an audio issue. My mic wasn't being picked up. And two, the background music got flagged for copyright stuff. So what I'm thinking is I'll do another seed next week, with a radio service I use called Rainwave Active. So it'll play like OC remix music and stuff in the background, so it's not just, dead silence. And yeah, we'll get one of those seeds out, because I need to have at least one free enterprise seed on the channel, considering my history and how I got started with streaming and all. So it makes sense to have it. But after that, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. Maybe start a casual run of something or something along those lines. Maybe do a different randomizer. I mean, I don't want the channel to just be randomizers with nothing else, so I do have to consider what would work best for a YouTube channel, maybe do a Minecraft thing or something like that. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. Until then, I will bid you adieu, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. All right, have a good one.